Pitch up, look sharp here. Check out where I'm staying tonight. Built this shelter in the woods. Hopefully it's going to be pretty cozy. Check out the video, see what you think. Hi, so yeah, this is an inventory of everything I'm bringing for my stay. So everything's going into this large backpack, so I have to pack pretty light. Nevertheless, I'm having to bring some pretty bulky stuff. So let's start off over here. I'm bringing a dog with me, so she needs a little dog bed, steak and some water for her. Hot water bottles, bringing 2 of them with the water in them already. And got my axe, which I've recently sharpened. 2 little saws, hand saws, for chopping hazel potentially. Different sorts of blades. This one's for cutting dead wood. That's for cutting live wood. Now they're sitting on these 2 scoops, which are leaf scoops. Just made out of plastic. Hopefully you'll see later where they come into use. Kettle for boiling on the open fire. Some twine for making the structure. Pillow. I've got waterproof trousers there. Thermals there. Lighting. I've got a few various different types of lights here. Battery powered lantern. Head torch here, which is going to be pretty crucial. A little pen torch, which is really handy. Dealing with the fire, got 1 glove. Matches, fire lighters. I'm not going to bring all of them, just the whole box. For cooking, just 1 metal plate. Bits of cutlery, thermal flask. Crucial, some whiskey. And a big wok to cook stuff in. What I'm going to cook, I'm going to have some sausages, some potatoes and some greens. And I haven't actually packed them obviously, I'm going to pack them in tomorrow morning. Water, if I can get quite thirsty. My sleeping arrangements are going to be a really lightweight single sleeping bag, which isn't really, it's designed for summer camping. That's why I'm bringing a blanket. I'll actually be sleeping on a yoga mat, which my girlfriend kindly donated to me for this trip. I am going to make a rudimentary sort of bed for that to go on, to keep me off the ground, because otherwise I'll get extremely wet and damp and cold. But yeah, see how I get on making that. And that's pretty much it. I've got to get all this in there, see how I get on. Here's the backpack packed up. I've got this waterproof cover on the back, this, which goes over and covers up this colourful blanket, so it doesn't looks less inconspicuous. It's a little heavy, so hopefully I'm going to try and think of a way to reduce the weight a bit. Might get rid of 1 of the hot water bottles, thinking it's a bit overkill. Yeah. Hey, Pitch Up Look Sharp here, and today's episode I'm going to be camping in the woods. So yep, this is the patch I've picked. And there's 1 catch. I've got no tent, so I'm going to make my own shelter. Now the shelter I'm going to build is one I used to build when I was a kid, and it's a Ray Mears from one of Ray Mears' books. So stay tuned to find out how I build it. I've picked this little spot here. I've walked maybe 200 meters, 300 meters in all directions, just to make sure I'm quite isolated. This is a really busy wood, so I'm not going to be that surprised if someone doesn't just come across me making a shelter. But yeah, it should be fun. So yeah, the first step when building these shelters is to find this piece of wood with a sort of Y shape. Can you see that? And you need 5 of them for the uprights, and basically the fire is going to be in the middle, just there. Now, how high these are determines how high the structure is. So I want to be able to sit in it comfortably. So this is pretty good. This is going to be far too big for just me, but it's hard to build them any smaller. And obviously you've got these bits of wood here. At the moment, obviously this is incredibly flimsy. And how it really works is that you start building up lengths of wood to lean up against it, equally building up the weight going round. And that force of it all leaning into the middle will create it like a strong structure, or fairly strong. Anyway, stay tuned and you'll see the next step. So, next step, I've gathered loads of long pieces of wood. Now, this wood is so good for building shelters. There's just absolutely tons of this lying around. I've not chopped any of this down. Previous people have. Obviously, a lot of people around here are making shelters, but I haven't chopped anything down. So the next step is to lean up the strongest ones, 10 of them, all equally around that hexagon shape there. Little update, I'm closer to the path that way than I thought I was. I've just seen some people through the woods. Don't know if they saw me, but happy days really. It's lovely. Winnie's enjoying herself. Well, hey, so I've got the main structure up. So this is just all the strongest, longest bits I can find. Now these central beams inside are pretty solid now, even though they're really flimsy when I started. But to be honest, I had to use a bit of green twine on the initial hexagon sections just to keep them solid. But because of all that weight in the circle coming down equally, whoa, I knocked a bit over. Because that's all come over equally, it just supports the structure. And at the moment, it's quite big. I mean, it would easily sleep comfortably 3 people, maybe 4 at a squeeze. So now the next step is just to get more and more branches on it that don't have to go all the way to the top. They can now just lean on these supporting, these main branches, until you cover it and cover it and cover it, really thatch it in with different branches. Then we're on to actually thatching it with leaves. So as you can see, I've lent up loads of branches now. I think I'm going to stop there. Loads and loads of branches. Now it doesn't matter if they're like half rotten, because they're not really structurally that integral. It's just adding more and more weight to the structure. One last stage, which is collecting leaves. Now this is going to take a long time. So as you can see, it's pretty big. I bought these years ago. I've never used them, just precisely for this purpose. The big claws. Now the idea, just scrape all this up into big piles and use these claws and start dumping it around it. I'm probably going to make it a foot deep, going all the way up, so that is a lot of leaves. But yeah. So there you go, just on the thatching. Wow, it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. But, you know, I've got to expel some energy, so, because it gets dark around 4 o'clock. So, I'm probably going to have an early night, cook dinner up around 6, head to bed around 9 or 10, so I need to be pretty tired. But yeah, it's all thatched up. It's not a foot deep. If I had 2 people, if there's 2 of us, I could do it. We could do it, and then but at the moment it's probably about 6 inches deep. Going nearly all the way up to the top. Has a little entrance here. It's pretty dark in here now. But there you go, you can see up to the top, which is the chimney. That's where the fire's going to be, between the supports. Really dark in here. A few little pockets of light. But yeah, pretty good. I'm not expecting any downpours tonight. So, if I was, maybe I'd try and thatch higher, but like I said, I'm absolutely knackered now. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's completely hidden, obviously. It's a little sneaky peek of what this is like, this structure, from far away. It just looks like a big mound. So well camouflaged. Then when the fire's on, I'll try and take some footage. All you're going to see is a light glow out the top, and then out the doorway, which I'm going to try and partially block. But yeah, the next step is to get myself off the ground. So I'm thinking of just having just straight logs the length of me, then maybe using a bit of something to pad it out. I'm not totally sure. Haven't got a huge amount of time left till I lose daylight, but looks really good. You can hear that rustling. There's a dog running around. Yeah, I've just sorted out a bed really quickly. Got some straight logs, which are all nice and straight, relatively the same size. I've just pulled off some of this fern, nice and soft, and then I've got a small roll mat that will go on top of that. Pretty happy with that, actually. This is such a great place to do this because everything is just to hand you'd ever need. Oh. So yeah, I'll get this inside the shelter, then look for firewood. Yes, I'm looking for some firewood, and I saw this earlier. All this wood kind of stood up. Obviously some kids have made a shelter or a wall or something. It's so good though for firewood because it's been sat underneath this evergreen pine here, and they're upright as well, which means if they have got wet, they've been able to dry out. So some of this is probably bone dry. Obviously you don't want to burn green wood or live wood, you want to burn dead wood. So I'll make sure it's well seasoned. But here I just need to just bring up my saw. I'll take these bits back, cut them up, and they're probably absolutely good to go. Really good find. Hey, just finished chopping up the firewood. Loads of it. Won't need all that, but I will have to get the fire on soonish because it's starting to get dark, and especially being in the woods, it gets darker. Obviously earlier because you're underneath the canopy a little bit. So this is me inside the wigwam. I've got the dog in here. It's just about 4:30 now. Still light, but it's fading fast. I managed to just use a bit of fern as a door. You can see the structure now. A lot of moss and leaves. It's all very damp. And I dug in a hole as well for the fire. And that's the firewood. Now it's about, I don't know if you can see, there's plenty of room in here. I think 2 more people, be a squeeze with stuff. And that's a nice size. Just lit the fire in the wigwam. It works so well because the whole structure almost works like a chimney, funneling up to the roof. Just getting it started, so I've got it a bit more sort of aggressive than I would have it normally. Really nice though. See if I could dry this place out. Been sat here maybe for an hour, just having some whiskey, just chilling out with the dog. The dog's sat on me because she's getting a bit cold. Now we got this fire on. Build it up. I won't have it as tall as this the whole time. Let's just get it going. Really nice in here. One of the things I remember growing up was I did this admittedly maybe 5 or 6 times when I was 16, 17. One of the things that stuck with me was just, I don't know if I can capture this on the camera, the way that it just lights up the inside, and it's all this woven branches with these leaves. It just looks amazing. Absolute pleasure. Don't know what Winnie thinks of it. She's moaning because it sparks. Hi. Just got the fire on, burning away nicely. I'm quite toasty in here. I think Winnie's a little bit unhappy with the situation. Poor girl. She doesn't like the sparks. Anyway, I've got my wok. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah. I'm going to cook up some sausages over the open fire. And I've got some potatoes that have already been pre-cooked, but I'll fry them off. Some green beans there that I'll fry as well. I'm hoping the fat from the potatoes will just be enough. From the sausages will just be enough. But yeah, really loving it in here. Fire's drawing lovely, like it brings in cold air from the doorway. Then you can, the smoke just goes straight up, and if there's an ember, it floats straight up as well. Perfect. Yep, sausages are on the go. Whoop. Yeah, this wok is so good, having an open fire. Absolutely kicking ass. So yep, we've had our dinner. We might naturally come to a head. Thought I'd just answer some questions which may arise from this video. Firstly, having a fire within essentially a big pile of twigs and branches and leaves, you'd naturally think that's not a very safe idea, and I'm being very cautious of how big the fire is. The only thing I can say is all the leaves are very damp. We're in November at the moment, and you wouldn't need a shelter like this in the summertime. You only need it in the winter time for staying in the UK. I mean, I'm making sure to burn only dry wood to keep the sparks down, but it's not as much of a problem as you might expect. It's really nice in here. I've had the fire going a couple of hours now, and yeah, it's great. Well, I'll probably have to call it a pretty early night tonight. Right, so I think I'm going to call it a night. Sort the bed out. Yeah, it's been good. So yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to get my stuff together and make a move. Yeah, the sleep, I mean, to be expected. Quite uncomfortable. It's okay when you're on your back, but there's a lot of flip-flopping. Also, I didn't really truly factor in sleeping with a dog. Because she took up quite a bit of space. But yeah, overall, not too bad. I mean, I woke up about 2:30, really wide awake. But like I said, that's to be expected. Reminisced doing for years and years, because like I said, I used to do this when I was a kid or an adolescent, and I've been wanting to come out and do it properly again. Really nice experience. Just spending a whole day like crafting, making a shelter, and that's what you know you're going to be doing for the whole day, and then finding your firewood, chopping it up, hunkering down after quite a full-on day. Really nice. It's another reason that kind of drove me on to do this as well was I've started watching this YouTuber called Camping with Steve, who's really funny Canadian who goes out stealth camping. So yeah, I'll put a link in the bottom of the video towards his videos because they're just so good. If you like this video, yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel. Might produce other videos like this, I don't know yet.